Hey, Dream Chasers, it's Heather here, and we are just about 30 minutes into our meeting, and I was doing a little laser coaching with Christine and Malia, but what we wanted to do was just share a couple of our takeaways so that those of you listening can take some of the nuggets we got from Summit and be able to apply them to your business and your life. So I'm going to start first, and I have two takeaways really that kind of resonated with me. And the first one was that after watching all of the presenters, everyone from the top leaders on Rockstar Fit who spoke at the Rockstar Fit Day, up to the top coaches who spoke at the various breakout sessions, and then even some of the presenters that Beachbody brought in, like Gary Vaynerchuk, Chalene Johnson. The one thing that I really noticed about them was they had a passion and they had conviction and showed care when they were sharing that passion. And it was like you just felt sort of mesmerized in listening to them. But there was no sort of hesitation in their voice. There was no disbelief in what they were doing. And it just reminded me that, to be a strong leader, whether it's leading someone in fitness or whether it's leading coaches on your team in the business, you really need to feel that passion for what you're doing and be kind of connected to your reasoning for why you're doing it. And then you have to have conviction about it when you talk about it. It's almost like you could feel the energy just kind of jumping out of them, and that they didn't really care what anybody thought about them or what they were saying, but that they just wanted to get their message out because they believed so much in it. And then you could also tell that each one of them really cared that their audience kind of took away their message. So my takeaway from that is just in anything that you do, whether it's talking to a potential client on the phone, whether it's talking to a challenger in a group, maybe you're making a little video clip, which I highly recommend videos because it's really hard sometimes to convey your passion about something in a written message. If you can go on Facebook Live, if you can make a video clip and put it up somewhere, or you can even do those little voice memos that Christine is now loving in Facebook Messenger, or even leaving a voice message. When people can hear your voice and they can hear your conviction, it gets them more excited about being part of what you're doing. So when you're talking to your coaches, just being very passionate and having that belief in what we have to offer. And going to Summit for me is always a way for me to be reminded of why I'm so passionate about what I do and why I do put in the hours that sometimes I don't want to put in or don't feel very convenient, or they cause me a little bit of anxiety or stress. It just reminds me when I go to Summit that it's so worth it, because you see that you're part of a company that cares about people and really makes an impact in the world. This company is not slowing down. It's growing very quickly. And it's changing a lot of lives. And the people who lead the company are, very innovative, and they really care about taking care of people. So anyway, my takeaway number one is to show your passion with conviction and with care so that people know that you truly care about them. My takeaway number two is that if you want success in anything, you have to work for it. It's hard. It's showing up every day. It's being consistent, even when you don't want to. There were two speakers, Melanie Mitro, the top coach. She talked about why she was successful in this business, and it came back to, she shared a story about when she was trying to make the varsity cheerleading team, and she had no experience in cheerleading. She was like the least likely person of everyone that tried out to make the team. But what she did have was the work ethic. And while the gals who had been on cheerleading squads before, who had dance backgrounds, who kind of had that personality and they were more likely to make it, practiced a little bit and then kind of, went off and did their own thing. They did not put in the hours she did, where she went home, at the tryouts, had taped the music, had written down all the notes, including like what people's faces look like and how they held their arms and how they spoke, and went home and locked herself in the room for hours and just practice and practice and practice. And she did it like all week while they were, in the midst of sort of the tryouts and stuff. And the night before the actual tryouts, when all the girls went out and hung out with their friends, she said no to that and went home and practiced and practiced and practiced until she couldn't have done what she explains a fingernail better. And, in doing that and in practicing that so many times and putting in so much more work than anyone else did, she actually ended up making the team in the very last spot. So she made it just barely on the team. But had she not put in those hours, she wouldn't have made it. So I thought it was an interesting story, because I imagine that when she works her business, she does the same kind of thing, and that she probably does make some sacrifices here and there, probably multiple sacrifices actually, in order to be able to achieve her dreams and build a better life for her family. So it just reminds you that, you can have a lot of knowledge, you can have a lot of talent, but if you're not willing to take action and put in the work, then the results aren't going to come. And you can even apply that back to fitness, where you can know what you're supposed to do, you can know what you're supposed to eat, but in the moment, if you don't make the decision to do it and you don't show up and do it consistently every day, you're not going to get those results for the long term. So it goes back to consistently showing up every day. So Gary Vaynerchuk, who is a social media guru, he spoke, and he also said the same thing, is that it's hard work. Success in the world is hard work. And that, for example, if you're applying that to your social media, you have to show up on your social media every day. And you have to put in those posts, and you have to connect with your audience. You can't connect with everyone for a week and then disappear for 3 or 4 days and then try to come back. And it doesn't mean that maybe once in a while you have a day where you just feel like you need to disconnect and be with your family, but then show up the next day and be there. So anyway, that was my takeaway number 2, is really just, it comes down to taking action. Like, no amount of knowledge, no amount of sort of dreaming and hoping and strategies are going to work if you don't actually apply it. And you can't rely on anyone else to create the success for you. You have to create the success for yourself. Your teammates aren't going to do it. Your customers aren't going to do it. Your sponsor's not going to do it. Your upline sponsors, Carl Deichler's not going to do it. No one's gonna make you successful. You have to do it yourself. And with that said, know that no one can keep you from being successful either, except yourself, your own mindset. So there's no coach or no sponsor or no customer that's going to keep you from achieving your goals. If someone says no, or if someone maybe isn't there for you or doesn't provide what you need for that, to be successful, go out and find it. Go out and find those resources. Be proactive. Don't wait for it to come to you, but go and create it and be willing to kind of take that risk. So those were kind of my favorite takeaways from Summit, something that I am going to be working on reminding myself of and applying in my own life. So then let's go to Christine. Christine, I'd love for you to share just a couple of your takeaways too.
Sure. So I think the biggest takeaways I learned is, number 1, from Shailene Johnson, to share your story, and the importance of sharing our stories and recognizing that everybody has struggles and challenges, and that no one's perfect, and that we're all here to support each other and help each other as we go through those challenges, as moms, as working, balancing our lives, all those types of things together. And with that is those amazing transformation stories that talk about how some of the struggles people have had dealing with cancer and other things, and how they beat them, and they're able to, make their lives into more purposeful lives and feel better about themselves. So that was the first. The second was the twin sisters that talked about leaving your mark. So I think that really resonated with me, is that to find the purpose of my life and to know that, when I die, that I've left my mark, that I've worked hard to help other people and feel like I've done something to better the community and my family. And then finally, the reoccurring theme of an attitude of gratitude. So being gracious and thankful for everyone in our lives and continuing to make our lives better and sharing that with other people and paying it forward. So if I'm grateful to other people, then they'll be grateful to other people, and it'll make it a much more happier world, and a world where everybody is not entitled but feels the joy of sharing their lives with each other and being grateful for everything that they have.
Yeah, I love those.
And then I guess the last thing just to add is that what I loved is the ability for us to, so many people ask me, how do you do this business? And I said, you can do it however you want. Be creative. There's no box that you have to sit in. You can do it however you want. You can meet with people in person. You can do it online. You can stand upside down on your head. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do to be creative, to make people, benefit from being part of this group. So
yeah, it's so true. The whole creativity piece. And one of the things that's hard and also fun about this business is that you do have to be creative. There's not always a straight drawn out steps for you to do, but you get to make it your own. So that makes it fun. Yeah. Thank you, Christine. Those are awesome takeaways. Love it. Okay, Malia, go ahead.
Okay. Well, Heather and Christine, I felt some of the same, things that you guys did as far as working hard and leaving your mark. I really enjoyed the sisters, and also what I got out of it was to really just to be you, and that you need to find your voice, your style, to be empowered within yourself, just to be you. And somebody said, define your legacy, because if you don't, somebody else will. And I think that's important, that we find our uniqueness. We're good with it. That's what makes us us. That's what makes people want to follow you and who you are. Don't try to be somebody else that you're not. And again, don't get into that comparison trap, because that's going to be your biggest time thief. If you start to compare yourself with others, you're going to get into a trap, and then you're not going to keep moving forward. On the same thing about being you, I wrote down, if you don't do you don't get done, and life misses out. And that quote, I can't off the top of my head remember who said that, but I
think it was Tracy Morrow.
Yeah, Tracy Morrow, maybe. Yeah, and it was just really empowering. I mean, there was so many speakers that were just, I took something away from Gary Vee, even Maysoon, Ali Upham was probably, again, another aha moment, is when she asked us, where would you be if you didn't have Beachbody in your life? Where would you be if I hadn't found this? If I hadn't said yes to you, Heather, and doing the challenge, not only physically and getting my health on track, because I could probably have got my act into gear, but more than that, I don't think that I would have had the belief in myself. Beachbody is so good about empowering you as a person, and really emphasizes the importance of personal development, of taking things at your own pace, at just realizing that this is your business. And again, like you said, Christine, that you can do it any way. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. And it goes back to just being you and being empowered and comfortable with who you are and what's going on in your life. Again, I had so so much from the summit, and it definitely was a life-changing experience. I can't believe I even thought twice about not going, and I am so excited about New Orleans, and my family. I came back just to mayhem at the house, but on a personal level, just a happier, more peaceful spot within myself. And I think that, flows out of me more now, and within, my family can see it. It's basically, long story short.
Yeah.
Now,
Now, it's kind of exciting to hear how you felt when you came back, because I know for you, it had been one of the first times you'd gone away like that and done any type of a retreat or summit or workshop for you with the kids at home. And
yeah. My kids never really, this was a big thing for them. They've never really experienced, several days without mom. A night out, or maybe 20. I think I had one girlfriend trip once, one overnighter, that they didn't have me, but they were young. And so, it was difficult. My husband got to deal with a sick child, which is, good for him.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to empower your spouses to help, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it allows you to be able to be a better you, and to be able to be out giving the best of you to other people. And when you come home, you feel refreshed and you're ready to be mom. And I don't know how you felt, but I imagine you probably felt excited to be mom again, right? Like a little refreshed.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I felt, part of me is just exhausted, because, it's a big long trip, and you run on adrenaline.
Yeah.
I ran no sleep pretty much, and lots of adrenaline for the first 4 days. In fact, I wasn't sure how I made it through a couple of them, but, so physically I almost was kind of just drained. But it's like my soul was, on fire. That my presence has been, more positive, if that makes sense. Just kind of in a happier state of mind,
Yeah.
I guess.
I totally relate.
Yeah, I have a clearer vision of what it is that my goals are, and what I want to do as far as, the business is concerned, and personal fitness. And I also know that it's not going to happen overnight, that it's going to take time. Gary Vaynerchuk, one of the other things he said is, besides working hard and having hard work, is what most people are lacking is patience. And that's, I think, what we see in this business in general when we're dealing with customers, is everybody's looking for that quick fix. They're like, oh, if I drink this Shakeology, for a week, I'm going to, all of a sudden have a lot more energy and lose 10 pounds. Well, no, yes and no. I mean, it's a process. It takes time. If, Autumn Calabrese always says, if you want something different in this world, you need to do something different. And I think that's, for me, I just, it's just realizing that it's okay. It was okay for me not to be where I wanted to be, because, to 10, 15 pounds that I really wanted to be when I was going to go to Summit, to not have those, to not exactly be where I wanted to be when I got to Summit, say, in my health and fitness. But that was okay, because nobody was looking at whether I was fat or skinny or wearing the right clothes or doing the right thing. They were just happy that I was there. And being able to connect with the team on a personal level, and share that time with you and to laugh and cry and sweat was amazing. You know, I came back feeling like I really miss my team.
I know.
Like, guys, can we do this next weekend?
The girls' weekend.
Yeah, you know, I think that in general, just being with you guys was definitely probably the greatest gift of Summit. You know, is feeling that warm fuzzy feeling of friends.
Well, I felt it too. It was a lot of fun. And Christine, I know you also had to juggle a lot of balls to make it happen with friends driving and picking up kids. And I appreciate you being there as well. It was really fun for all of us to spend live time together. Definitely. Yeah. All right, ladies. Well, thanks for sharing those takeaways and for sharing your feelings from Summit. I know the rest of the Dream Chaser team is going to appreciate having a moment to watch this and, you know, really getting excited for Summit next year in New Orleans. It's going to be an amazing experience. So thanks, Dream Chasers, for checking in. And I hope that you got something from the takeaways from Summit. And we hope that you will invest in yourself next year and that you'll take the time and save up your pennies so that you'll be able to go to Summit. And the tickets are on sale, I think, until Monday, and then they go up to regular price. We have a bunch of rooms reserved already, so we'll definitely work out arrangements if you need a place to stay. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you there next year. Thanks, guys.